Welcome back, you guys. This is Tassie, and this is my Shaman Memoirs channel. So we're going to start off this episode going over a little bit of a ghostly update, and then we're going to talk about a little bit about like my guides, like my spiritual self, and when shamans pass, typically what happens. And then somebody had asked me about what are my own opinions about, should they or should they not become a shaman, some questions regarding that. So let's get into it. All right, so this actually happened a couple of weeks ago. I basically was talking to somebody. We were hanging out and I was talking to them. And this individual has like jaw pain. And, it's been a while. It was something I knew about this person, but it had been a while. And as we were talking and hanging out, I freaking kept seeing like a ghost head like pressed up against them. And the ghost's hand was like trying to cover their face like this. So I remember the first time I saw it, right? I was like, whatever, because that's what I do. It's not on me. It's okay. But then I kept seeing it because I kept talking and looking at the individual, and that ghost girl kept looking at me. And I just want to say that this ghost woman was beautiful. I know it doesn't matter, okay? But I just wanted to say she was really pretty, okay? Anyways, so as I was looking at this girl, I was asking my client, like, why do I keep seeing this ghost here next to this person? And my client told me that it's this side of their jaw that actually hurts a lot. So I was like, I was drinking too, by the way. So I'm like, So I'm like drinking. And then finally I asked this person, I was like, hey, how's your jaw? Is your jaw still hurting? And this person was just like, yeah, my jaw still hurts. And I was like, which side hurts more? Like, is there a side that hurts more? And they pointed to this side and they're like, no, it's this side. This side's been really hurting. And I was like, And this individual says that they hate when I drink because when I drink, I'm not as slick, I guess, when it comes to seeing spirits. It's more of I'm like, and then I'll just like look away and then I'll go back to it and I'll just keep looking away. So this person always kind of knows when I see something because then I act kind of weird. I would just like to say, I can't help it, okay? Like, if they just pop up like that, I can't help it. You have to like look at it for a little bit and then look away. I eventually told this person later on in the night about what I was seeing, and we did discuss it a little bit, but it was just really freaking weird. I mean, like as a kid, I saw this, I don't even know who made this movie, okay, but it's called Shutter. Okay, I don't know if it was Japanese, Chinese, Thai, I don't know. But, or maybe it was Korean. Anyways, the whole point of the Shutter movie, if you've never seen it, it's basically this guy, his shoulders start to hurt a lot because a ghost is like sitting on it, something like that. And like they go to like the doctor and they get weighed, and they weigh a lot, like two people is on them. So I'm trying to think here really quick if I've actually seen a ghost on a person physically touching that person versus just following them. And I don't think I have. So that was the first time I've actually seen somebody that had a ghost plaster, like their head right next to theirs, and with their other arm of the ghost touching their face. So yeah, I think that's my only time I've ever seen it on an actual person. Good to note. I guess it could happen. Okay, so I was asked by a viewer pretty much, like how becoming a shaman, it's supposed to be a blessing. But, I guess they were kind of hesitant because they were kind of saying how it seems though a lot of people are hesitant to accept this blessing. So pretty much in a nutshell, yes, it's supposed to be seen as a blessing, to be chosen, to be a shaman, to be chosen, to have shamanic abilities. Okay, it's supposed to be a blessing because the heavens chose you. That is the blessing in itself. And there are a lot of perks, and we'll get into that later when we talk about like shamans passing and stuff like that, when it comes to being chosen to be a shaman. So obviously, like I'm going to state the obvious, okay? There are a lot of people who don't want to do it because it's a lot of work. especially I've noticed as a trend, when elders are older and then they find out that they're supposed to be a shaman, they choose not to do it because they're so old already. They don't have that kind of energy. It would have been different had they been younger when they found out and then they accepted becoming a shaman. Okay. But now that they're older, especially if they already have an established shaman in their clan that they are very close to, they're not going to want to do it as well. Like, what's the point when we already have somebody? And a lot of times, like families would actually see being a shaman as it's a blessing. It's a great thing for the clan because if you have any illnesses, if you have any issues, you can just go to your shaman. And it's great to have a trusted shaman, like somebody who you trust, who you know how they were raised, like basically the background of this individual, right? But, now that the monk people have become so Americanized and now there's Christianity that's been involved too, a lot of people don't see it the same way. And that's completely normal. Like for Americanized people who are younger, especially, we see it as, oh God, like it's like, it's the old way. It's like what our parents want. And, like, because I grew up in that kind of mindset as well. Like, oh, mom's being crazy with her voodoo stuff, like, because, like a lot of us, we didn't believe in it. And so it was just something that we were raised being privy to, but we didn't pay attention to it. We didn't care. And so, like the thought of it happening to you, and now it's like your life, for myself, I really felt like I was being forced or I was going to die. That's what, like, so I really walked around thinking I had a tumor and I was going to die. Like I've mentioned this in my other videos, you guys. When it happened for me, even though, yeah, I had a demon following me and I could talk and see spirits, I didn't know that meant I was supposed to be a shaman, because I didn't know shamans could see and do that. Because when I did go around shamans, not many, I'll tell you that, they couldn't see Michael, they couldn't see spirits. So how was I supposed to know that that's what shamans are supposed to do? Okay. So I didn't know. And so, I definitely only did it, not with the intent of what some people who have information about shamans, I feel as though their reasoning and why they do it would have been so different from mine because, I didn't know about the whole prestige and that people looked up to shamans, because I sure didn't. Okay, like, I wasn't in the monk community in that kind of way, in a traditional way. I was so Americanized. So, I lived on my own, you guys. And so I was just like, what? Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, other than I wasn't going to die if I did this. Okay, like, that was the only thing. And for those of you guys who don't know, there was an elder monk. I don't know if he was a shaman, but he like my lineage type of shaman, but he had like mystical powers. Okay, like he knew stuff. Okay, let's just go there. Like he knew stuff, but like he didn't see Michael, but he said something to me that scared me. And this is what led to me believing I had a tumor. Okay. Because he said something about, he saw me and he said that the spirits were going to make me crazy where I could die. So when he said that to me, I was like, and then he saw a scene that had happened in my life. I feel like I may have told you guys this story a long time ago, but nobody was there when this scene happened. And I probably told 2 to 3 people max in my life about this story. I was driving down the road late for work and I was lighting up a cigarette. I was touching the radio at the same time and I was looking into my car. All right, that's the scene. I'm driving down a road. It's early in the morning and I'm late. So I may have been going the speed limit. And then as I'm doing all of this, touching the radio, trying to light up a cigarette, touching the radio, I see from my peripheral vision a deer headed right towards my car. And this road in Minnesota, obviously, when you live in like wooded kind of areas, we have a lot of deers that run around the roads. So normally you're supposed to be keeping your eye out for deers. Okay, I wasn't doing that. And I remember in that moment when I saw the deer, I knew in my heart, like, and this is before I was a shaman too, I knew in my heart, okay, the deer is going to hit my car. I just need a brace for it. So I just waited. And then all I did was I was holding the cigarette, and all I did was I just closed my eyes and I waited for the impact. I mean, this deer was right next to my car, this head, right by me. And then all of a sudden I felt my car jerk. Literally, my car jerked. And then it just kept rolling. And my foot was not on the gas or on the brakes. It was not on any of the pedals. I was just letting it roll now. And I'm going like 40 miles per hour, okay? And I'm just letting it roll because I knew that deer, I was going to hit the deer. And then my car just kept rolling. Like, and so finally I was waiting for this impact that never came. So finally I just opened up my eyes and there was no deer. Like, I was just rolling along. And so obviously I'm like, you know what? Like, whatever. So I just go to work. So I only told this story because it's not really a story, right? Like when that happened, oh, I thought I was going to get hit by a deer, but no deer was around. Like, that's not really a story. That's like half a story, okay? So I didn't tell anybody really. I told probably 2 to 3 people in my life and that was it. And this gifted person saw this moment in my life, and he told me specifically about this moment. He said to me, because I don't believe it, he said to me that I was going to get hit by a deer, but my spirit guides forced it to stop because as a shaman I'm not allowed to break my arms or legs because I'm going to need it. And I remember in that moment I was like something inside of me just dropped, and I was just like, okay, this is impossible because this person, he has no idea who I am. I have no idea who he is. I'm just like, I cannot explain this. And as he told me, like, I saw the vision in his head open up and I saw me there and I saw him seeing that moment. And I'm like, what? Like, this, it's not possible. So he is the one who told me that I have a lot of Buddhas, but he couldn't see Michael. And he just said that I was meant to become a shaman or else I will die, you guys, because I don't know anything about shamanism. I literally walked around for like a few days before I finally told somebody that what happened, because this person told me that I was going to die. So I took it as I had a tumor. Like, I don't believe in shamanism, so I must have a tumor, you guys. I will say that I have been, you guys also know, I've been tested a lot because of my hair loss, and the doctors, they don't know why. So yeah, don't worry, no tumors have ever been found. But I will say, like, I seriously did think that I was going to die. So what led me to look for help to get a shaman teacher was because I felt like when I had COVID, I had no symptoms when I had COVID. So every day when I woke up during that 14 time span of when I had tested positive for COVID, I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and then finally I would die or like something drastic. Like, yeah, I'm really dramatic. I go to the extreme, you guys, okay? So I just kept walking around like something from the sky is going to fall down and hit me. Like that's what I saw it as. But I think a part of me didn't really believe in that person. I still don't know who they are. A part of me didn't believe in this person either because they said some stuff that Michael was kind of laughing at, and then I was just like, like, but it's I don't know. Okay, and I'll be honest, I don't believe in horoscopes. I've mentioned this in other videos, you guys. Because if you read the horoscopes, it could literally apply to anybody, okay? So I don't believe in horoscopes. Maybe because my guides don't believe in it and they are quick to tell me not to go reading and believing in it. Like when you're looking for signs, sometimes you kind of just accept that things, like because I'm somebody who I just don't believe in a lot of things, where I'm very skeptic. I'm very skeptic about things, and even if I hear it or even if somebody says something to me, like, for me, everything has to line up. Everything has to be okay. I cannot deny that no more. But then some of the things that this guy was telling me, I didn't really believe in it either. The only thing I believed in what he said was about that scene about me almost getting hit by a deer, because, you know, like, it was just crazy. Like, because I remember feeling the jerk of my car. Like, it jerked backwards. And this is an automatic car. This is not a manual. And so, I mean, I can't explain that. That's why. Okay, so going back to why some people would not be willing to do this, even though technically it's a blessing. You know, like, if you're not thinking like me, you're gonna die, and then you get suckered into it. I'm trying to think here really quickly if there was anything else, like, because I feel like my mind is blocking something that happened, because I'm not supposed to tell you guys, but I feel like something is being blocked. Okay. Because it happens a lot. Okay, I know when I'm being blocked. Like, something I'm supposed to say, it's getting blocked. So I can feel it. It's there, but I just can't see it right now. Anyways, I was asked about what are my guides like? You know, especially when I'm filming and stuff like that. So my guides are actually all in front of me. That's actually how it happens. And a lot of times I'm listening or I'm looking at them because they're telling me things, but they're on the other side of the camera. Some of my guides, they do love, okay, one thing you guys may not know, and if you guys actually go back and look at all of my thumbnails from my videos, my guides are in all of the photos. They are actually there in every photo, and they choose all of my thumbnails. But they love it when I'm taking photos, because then they I don't really know. They don't like to be on camera because they don't like to be recorded, but they like it when I'm taking photos, because they're like, they know which one's going to be the thumbnail. And they, I don't know. I think it might be weird to some of you guys, especially when I go into my next part about my spiritual self, because it may seem weird if you're not used to it. But for me, sometimes I have to remind myself that a lot of people aren't used to these kind of things, you know, like, but I talk about it like everybody should know it, you know, like, for example, my sister and I, we went to Egan Outlets this past weekend, right? And I was telling her, because every time I drive to Egan, you guys, and I don't live that far from Egan, probably like 20-25 minutes ish, but whenever I drive to Egan lately, it's been raining. It's always raining when I'm driving to Egan, and you guys know I hate the rain. So I remember my sister was driving us to Egan, and it was sunny, but it was kind of chilly. And I remember I was like, man, there's just something about the land of Egan. Like, there have been opportunities in my life where I had considered moving to Egan, but whatever reason, they always fell through. I mean, one time I almost bought a house in Egan, and I don't know if you guys know this, or if you guys also have this feeling, because I had to say it to my sister, and then I kind of laughed because it sounded kind of ridiculous when I said it. But have you ever felt like going to a land, you guys, and you felt like you weren't supposed to be there? Because whenever I go to Egan, I feel like, not that like it's cursed, but I feel like it's not good land. Like, like, it's not good land for me. Like, I shouldn't be in Egan. I don't know what it is, you guys. But I always feel that I feel it. Like, there's something weird about the land of Egan in Minnesota. So, you know, I'm not saying it's cursed. I'm just saying whatever is there, I don't like it. Like, there's something there that where I'm like, I can't live here. Like, I shouldn't be here long. Like, there's just something, I don't know what it is. And then my sister was thinking about it, and she was like, yeah, you know what? There was this city, but she actually lived in that city. But it's kind of like you just have like really bad luck when you're there, or something weird is going on. Like, I don't know if it was really haunted or something, but I remember a long time ago when I was first becoming a shaman, there were a lot of stories about Blaine. Blaine supposedly was like really cursed land as well. I've never felt that way because I went to Blaine all the time. I had a sister who lived there. So I was always in Blaine, and Blaine obviously has huge houses, and it's almost like it's a gated community, but it's not. And like every freaking house over there, they all have like a lake as their backyard because it's all man-made. But I remember around the time I was becoming a shaman, people kept talking about the cursed land of Blaine. I've never felt Blaine being like a cursed or a bad land the way I do with Egan. But it's funny because at the time, I never made that connection that I felt that way about Egan. And I have been to Egan quite a bit, but I don't know. There's just something weird about that place. I don't really like going there. I don't know why. Now, when I go to Native, I know we're getting off topic, but I'm almost done. Okay, when I go to Native American land, like, don't come at me. I know everything is Native American land in America, but like the reservations, their actual reservations where they have like their casinos, I feel really sad there. Like, I feel like things went wrong. Like, things weren't supposed to go the way they were supposed to go. Clearly, obviously, because of history, but that's what I feel from the spirits in the land. I feel like they're very, what's it called? Disappointed. That more should have or could have been done. But like elders will always feel that way. They'll always feel that way. Like they're always disappointed in future generations. It's just a thing, I swear. All right, and the only other place I feel that weirdness from, land-wise, is Hawaii. I don't know what, don't come at me. I just feel like Hawaii's not really like a blessed place. I've never been to Hawaii, just to let you know. I don't have an interest in going to Hawaii either. But sometimes I wonder if it's because like there's a lot of spirits in those areas. You know what I'm saying? And the spirits there aren't happy. That's what I think it is. It's because the spirits there, they're pretty prevalent. I feel like in certain places where there's a lot of people who believe in like the divine and spirits and stuff, that certain things tend to be stronger. And if you are somebody who can feel energies and feel spirits and stuff, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's like a tatia feeling. It's like a weird feeling. That's what it is. Now, the places that I've always wanted to go, and one place I'll probably never go, but I want to go there because I feel like there's like a calling there that I have to go there. I need to somehow get to Ireland. I need to somehow see the pyramids in Egypt and the Mayans, but I don't want to go. I will probably never go to Mexico. I'm sorry. Like, I just have a feeling I'll die there, so I just can't go to Mexico. But I remember the first time I was dating my boyfriend. We were just dating, right? And we were talking about this because I had told him I was a shaman. And I told him how I need to get to Ireland. There is something in Ireland that keeps calling me and I have to go. And he was like, what do you think it is? And then I was thinking about it seriously for like a split second. And then I was like, I think the love of my life is there. I know, I'm a terrible girlfriend. That's not why I need to go there, you guys. Right. So back to the original point of this episode. So, people who are told that, it's a blessing to accept these gifts, to accept becoming a shaman and start on your journey, it's very hard still. It's a lot of work. That's the Kabbalah elders. They don't even want to get into it because they know how much work is involved. Whereas when you're younger, you have more energy to actually do all this, to learn it all, to try to learn. Whereas when you're older, you're kind of set in your ways and you really don't want to start all over, because there's already kids who are shamans. What's the point, It's not like there's a dire need for shamans. So you're fine and content with those who already are shamans in the community or in your clans, and that's what a lot of people would do when they're elders. Now, for young people, again, we're very Americanized, especially, and we just don't see a point in it. And it's not true. I've heard a lot of people who mistaken that if you're a woman and you're single, you should not become a shaman, even if the calling comes to you. That you should wait until you're married and then give your spirit guides to your husband or your children, etc. That's not true at all. I would not recommend that route whatsoever. I do think that you have better chances at being a shaman when you are single and then finding who your real partner is supposed to be. versus you're in a relationship and then you find out your guides don't like one another. Okay, that is not going to help you. But, you know, my own personal opinions, yes, it's a blessing. You know, we all get it. But at the same time, there's a lot of cons that are involved. Obviously, from a lot of my videos, I've talked about how crazy a lot of people are when it comes to shaman stuff, you know, and there's a lot of money that people will throw away for shaman services, you know. And for myself, I find that shamans, they tend to get put on a pedestal, but people forget they're human, just like you. And for myself, because I am taught so much by my guides, it's they enforce and ingrained so many things into me where I'm held at a different standard from a lot of other people. Because I'm just going to tell you all this. If you have guides who teach you all the time and every little thing you say or do, they watch you. And it's to ensure you go down the right path. So if you say something you're not supposed to say, it's lesson time. If you do something you're not supposed to do, it's lesson time. So it's basically constantly having guides who always guide you in everything you say and do. You know, like, you have to watch yourself so well, because you're not allowed to do and say certain things because you are set at a different standard, because you were taught specifically by certain guides, so you shouldn't be this way, you know. So it's to ensure that with the abilities that are given to you, the responsibilities that are given to you, you don't use it for bad, basically. Does it always work? I'll tell you no. That like, you know, obviously it's not a foolproof method, but the guides won't get in trouble because the guides tried every step of the way, watching you go down a bad rabbit hole, trying to stop you. And in the end, you chose not to listen. You chose not to do what they told you to do. So your guides don't get punished. So in the end, it's you who get punished. So there's pros and cons to everything. And I'll tell you, everything has, like, you know, like what they say, an action, a reaction. So you do get put on higher standards, but at the same time, you're still human. You know, you still have free will the way everybody else should have. But it only goes so far, because I can't play stupid. Basically, I don't get the opportunity to play stupid anymore. Oh, it's so beautiful to play stupid. But, you know, like, you're both sides of a coin. Like, you get all the good and you get all the bad when it comes to becoming a shaman. You really do. Even if, especially, like, this is kind of what I don't like, because sometimes I feel like it's too much prying. You know, like, I was taught, and this is why I had this theory, y'all. Everybody's allowed to have their own feelings, reasonings, etc., right? I also believe that they're allowed to have their own privacy, but a lot of times spirits will tell you everything. You know, things that you don't need to know. You could have been fine your whole life never knowing. They tell you anyways. And so it's just one of those things where, you know, sometimes shamans, their guides will show too much and you know too much. And then you need to, as the voice of reason, you need to really cover up what you should or should not say, because with all the knowledge, you have to also know how this person can handle the information. So this is what I mean by I sugarcoat things, and people didn't like it, but I'm gonna tell you this, okay? You people can't handle the truth, okay? Nobody can handle the truth. Because even if I tell you the truth, I'm kind of cutting you short because I told you the truth. So you can't deny you didn't hear it. So later on, when you try to act stupid, it doesn't work anymore. So isn't it better if I kind of sugarcoated it so that it doesn't hurt you as much hearing the information? You know? Like, so that it's, I feel like I'm always stuck in the middle, because you see and you hear, you know too much, and you see all the bad that's gonna come, and then you see all the good, and then you're kind of sitting there because you're sitting here with all this information and you're like, is this going to even help this person? Like, so I don't know. It's like my job too. Like, in a leadership role, you have to make all the decisions, good or bad, and you have to enforce the rules. You have to enforce the change. You have to coach and train people. And even if people are getting the short end of the stick, like this is the cards you're dealt with, so it's just like, that's what it's like, man. It's stressful. It's just stressful. Now, as far as, my own life, like what pros and cons have I had because I have these extra abilities? Definitely, I think it's a con when it comes to like relationships for me, because I see and I know too much about a person, where it's not like they got to prove to me. I already know it. There is no proving anything because I already know it, and so definitely I feel like that is a short end of the stick. And, there are times where, I don't know, I just feel like I may come off weird in relationships because I see and I know too much already. So I try not to say anything, but I already know it, so I'm just waiting for it to happen. It's like, so, like in arguments, I'll see and I'll know too much. So I don't know what you arguing for, like, so, but then it's great in making tough life choices, like, even if, and this is where I'm talking about the spirit version of me, okay, you guys? So the spirit version of me, she is still doing the godly duties, okay? So I'm here escaping, but there are a lot of times where I still go to her, because she's very, very different from me. I'm worrying about a single human lifetime. I'm worried about the other humans and their lifetime, like compared to what she has to do. So she's kind of condescending, I'll tell you guys that. Because like sometimes when I'm like stressed about something or uncertain of something, or I worry over somebody over something, she'll just kind of like chid me. Like she'll kind of just like look at me like I'm a kid, because my worries are so minuscule in size, whereas she's protecting the heavens and she's raising all the dragons. So it's so different. It's like the scope is like just such huge magnitude. But, it doesn't stop me from still being like, hey, this is our problem. Okay, it's not just my problem. So I believe through her, I learn how to really become like the non-human side, because she doesn't have any of the human sides I have, like how we have needs and wants, right? She doesn't have that. So through her, I learn how to embody it. Obviously I still suck at it, but because then we have fear for people, like people you worry about, people you care about, and she doesn't. It's because for her it's so simple. Everything is so factual. Everything she doesn't dream, like people don't have hope or dream or think things can change. For her, she knows everything is set the way it's supposed to be set, and it's so factual, you cannot change it. It's just, it is what it is, and you just let it go, and you don't think about it or worry about it because it's not gonna change it, kind of a thing. So I think through me, she learns a bit of humanity again. But then through her, I learn that she teaches me a lot too. For example, she teaches me that, my human body and mind can't handle everything until I am reborn. So it's definitely something where she has come a lot when I do Oneng. So when I go into the spirit world and I have to fight something really strong, she does come, so it's not like I've never seen her before. I see her quite often. And sometimes when I'm like talking to myself because I'm stressed, she comes too, and she helps me with what she can. But there's a lot of stuff, like obviously she won't just give me things like so that things go the way I want it to go, right? Because that's not the point of why I'm here, or else I would escape everything. Okay, so it's just, that's not the point, so I don't know. I think through her, talking to her and seeing her, she's just very different from me. like how you guys see me online, right? It's very different. It's like a totally different person. But she's not, and that's why I mean, like, gods, they're not, don't fantasize about them, because they're not what you think. They're not Santa Claus. They are so busy with their own shit. They just kind of look at us like, like, you know, like when little kids, they're fighting over a toy, you know, and then they come crying to you that that other kid took their toy. You're just kind of like, oh, if you only knew. So, you know, some people might see it as, you know, like, you're lucky to be, you know, raised by spirits and know so much. I think I'm only lucky in the sense that I'm prepared for when I die. Because a lot of people have that fear. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what's going to happen. They're afraid of the pain. They're afraid of those they leave behind, right? For myself, I just don't have that feeling. But it's because I was raised by spirits. So it's very different for me. I feel like I'm better prepared. And I don't have, because I've noticed this in a lot of people. A lot of people tend to naturally have connections and rooted stuff to people in the world. I don't really have that. I'm just like floating through, you know, like I don't have that deep rooted connection to, like, you know, my parents here, siblings. Yes, there are people you like and you love and be around, you care for, right? But when I know when I pass, it's not something I'm worried about, you know, like I just don't have that feeling the way a lot of people do, like, especially if they have children. And I just don't have that deep rooted feeling for those kind of things. Even like my physical possessions, everything could just burn up in flames and I would be totally fine. I just don't have those kind of connections towards physical things, I guess you could say. Now, I am asked a lot about shamans and when they pass, right? Because I don't know, somebody kept asking me about, when a shaman passes, do they become another shaman's guides? No, no, that would never happen. So, and that leads me to believe that people probably still don't understand spirit guides enough. Spirit guides, don't watch that movie, okay, that I had posted about that was the closest to spirit guides. Oh God, what's it called? Yin Yang Master? I don't know, I posted on social media. So some people thought, because in that movie, it was really stupid. This is probably the dumbest part of the movie, where this one priest, he dies, or like his spirit leaves his body, right? And the other priest makes him one of his spirit guides. That does not happen, you guys. So spirit guides, they will never have been human, and then they are your spirit guide. That's not how it works, you guys. Because I'll tell you, if it did, it'd be really easy to capture a lot of spirit guides. I don't know. My guys just showed me, like, this is what we would do if that was the case. It would be really easy, man. But, you know, like, humans don't have those kind of abilities. That's why I'm saying this. Humans don't have the knowledge, you know, like, if they were not a shaman, or, you know, like, they wouldn't be able to help you in the spirit world. That's what I'm telling you. Y'all just be going in circles then. But, you know, like, so even a shaman with the knowledge and stuff, shamans, their spirit, you can call on them to assist you and help you, right? So if a shaman passes away, you can call on the spirit of that shaman. And then if they choose to, they may come and help you, especially if you have something for them. Like, maybe you are the blood relation of that shaman. And this is where it's kind of close to like witches, where, you know, if you have a blood tie of something and you guys are the blood and bone of one another, they will come and aid you in your tasks, right? But they will never become your own spirit guide. That's not possible. Now, typically shamans in general, when they do pass, it can vary depending on who they are, their levels, and what they do in the spirit world, okay? Because sometimes an actual god, if you are the disciple and you are a higher level of a god, the god will actually come and get you. Sometimes they may send other people to come and get you. Sometimes your guides will lead you and take you to where you need to go for your next step in your journey. So it really, really, really depends, you know. And I know Hmong people, they have a lot of traditions, you guys. They have traditions when we have funerals. That is very, very different, okay? So the traditions were set up in a way to lead the people in the afterlife to where they need to go. But it's not really required. Sorry to bust your bubbles. It's not really required. It's more of a face thing, where if the family had money or this person was very loved and cared for, they would have done a huge thing where everybody can visit the dead before they close them off. But that's more of a human thing, and it's tradition. Tradition, y'all. Tradition. It is not the religion. Now, before I go, I want to tell you guys about a story when I was a child. And I don't know why I forgot about this story, but when I was younger, I was outside in the yellow house. And I saw these three spirits walking past me. And I remember I called out to them, and they were surprised that I could see them. And they looked at me, and I asked them, what are you guys doing? And they said, because they looked weird. And they told me that they were on the way to get their general, because their general had passed away. So it's time to go get them. And then I was like, okay. Like, what does that mean to me? I don't know. But you know, spirits were always doing weird stuff when I was a kid. So then, you know, they tell me a lot of weird stuff, and you're just like, oh, okay. Like, but you don't question it. So, and then they continued on their path, and then they disappeared. So I do know that when people pass, certain spirits, depending on so many things, will come and get that person. Now, of course, the spirit of the deceased can choose not to go, you guys. So again, that's the whole free will thing. If you choose not to go, yeah, no, I just thought of it for myself. And they were like, don't even think about it. They got like chains. So it's like, they're like, they will capture me if they have to. I don't know, man. I don't know where I get these thoughts. Okay. I was just thinking, okay, like, what if I wanted to take a little vacation before I go back? Yeah, I already know I'm going to try something. Okay. All right, you guys. So that is it. Until next time.